Hi, I'm Tim and this is Timberway Designs. In this video I take a rough rock or a slab and I make a cabochon out of it, and I'll take you through all the steps that I do to go from the rough all the way to a shiny cab. This week we got a piece of green Zebra Jasper. Let's make a cabochon. Today we got ourselves a piece of green Zebra Jasper. Picked this up at the rock shed out in Keystone, South Dakota. If you're ever out there, you should check that place out. It's probably my favorite place to buy rough rock. So I'll get it wet here so you can see what it kind of looks like. Now it's got some dark stuff in it. And then there's the green stripy stuff. And it's supposed to be, I think, a 6.5 to 7 on the Mohs scale. So I got this piece here. I'm going to do the old trillion cut, 1 inch, and I'm going to kind of, thinking right about there, ultrafine Sharpie. There. Now if you're interested, these templates, I make these here, and I sell them on the Etsy page. I think I got 21 different templates, or 22, I can't remember. So if you're in the lapidary and want to find some small templates of different shapes, check them out. So we're going to take this downstairs. I'm going to trim out the shape on the trim saw, and then we'll take over the cab machine. We'll grind it down to the lines, then we'll put it on a dop stick, and then we'll make a cabochon out of it. So we'll see you downstairs. All right, we're down here on my 10-inch high-tech trim saw. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you that these blades are absolutely not sharp. I'm rubbing my thumb on it right now, and it don't even cut the glove. So do not worry about me cutting my fingers on this saw. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to touch up the blade or dress it to expose more diamonds, and I usually run that three little cuts into a coarse grinding disc. So let's get this done. Okay, that's close enough for me. Let's move over to the cabbing machine. All right, we're over here on my 6-inch Kingsley North cabbing machine. And what we're going to do is I'm going to grind it down to the edges here. And we'll start with the 80 grit to get close to the line. And we'll get on the line with the 220 grit. And then we'll clean up all the scratches on the edge with the 280 grit. So let's start grinding. All right, close enough on the 80 grit. Let's move over to the 220 grit. Okay, now we're grinding on a radius here, so you got to keep moving. All right. Looking pretty good there. We're going to move over to 280 grit. Now on the 280 grit, this is your opportunity to knock down your sharp edges here. I mean, when you're pushing or you'll see me going around in a circle like this over here. So when you're doing that, don't mash your sharp edge into the wheel. Just kind of just cut across it like that. And then depending on the hardness of the stone is how hard you push or how many times you go around. So just keep that in mind too. So if you're doing a really soft stone, you don't want to dwell on your corners, you're going to cut them out. On a really hard stone, you know, just brush them by. You'll see when I start doing this. that's close enough. So we're going to put it on dop pot, get a stick on it, and then we'll come back and make cabochon out of it. All right, we got it all dopped up here. This is just a dowel, and then you glue it to the bottom of the cab with a special lapidary wax here that'll hang on to it, hopefully. Sometimes they come off, you just put them back on, keep on going. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start grinding on this edge right here till I get down about 1/8 of an inch to 2 millimeters off the bottom, which would be called a girdle. And that'll be just a flat spot along the edge here. And then once I establish that, I'll go back and I'll grind the top edge again. And what I'm doing is I'm working my way towards the center here. So let's start grinding. Oh, we'll start with the 80 grit to establish the girdle and everything. And then once that's done, then we'll start doming it here. We'll get all the marks from the 80 grit off on the 220, and then we'll do the same thing on the 280 grit. And then we'll move on to the polishing side. Okay, you saw me establish my first cut down to the girdle. You can kind of see the flat spot there along the edge here. So there's the first angle, and then I kind of worked my way towards the center of the cab. There's a flat spot right there. That's close enough for me. I'll start doming at this stage here, and now what you want to do is get a nice round dome on top of here. All right. I think we got a good dome established there. See, I didn't grind into my girdle along the edge here. Got a little bit on the corner. So when I'm grinding, I'm going back and forth from the top of the girdle to the top of the girdle, and then I'm rolling the stone at the same time and flipping it. You got it on these stones with corners like this. You got to be kind of careful because you have a tendency to kind of drift off and grind into your corners. You can make that disappear pretty easily if you're not watching it. So this isn't going into setting or anything, so this isn't a problem. And we'll just move on to the next wheel now. All right, I'm liking that. Now we're going to move on to the 280 grit. What do we got here? More there. Okay. I think that's looking a lot better. A little more there. Yeah. I like to touch the very tips on the wheel, not just super light though, because you don't want to grind them flat. So if there's any edge on there, you'll kind of take that off. All right, I'm liking it. All right, I'm going to shut you down. We're going to move over to the polishing side. All right, we're over here on the polishing side. I got a 600 grit, a 1200 grit, a 3000 grit, and then I got a cerium oxide disc around the corner here. So we'll start with 600. All right, we'll move on to 1200. Looking good. Now we'll move on to the 3000 grit. Let's see what we got for a shine going here. All right, looks pretty good, but I'm not going to show you until we get done with the cerium oxide. All right, we're on the finishing side of my Kingsley North cabbing machine. It comes with a cerium oxide impregnated disc, and this disc is replaceable. You just heat it up with a hair dryer and peel it off and stick another one on there. It's on a foam pad, and this whole thing's screwed into the shaft of the cabber here. And I really like it because it's not messy. It works pretty good. I get really good results with it, and I don't know, I just like it. It's so clean and it just put a little water on and just go to town. So let's see if we can bump the shine on this a little bit. Let's see what we got here. Little pant leg. Oh yeah. Look at that. Beautiful shine. So I'm going to take this upstairs, put it in the freezer, get the stick off, and we'll look at it a little closer. Okay, we're back upstairs. There's the cabochon. There's the dop stick. Boop. Got it nice clean break off, cleaned up the back a little bit. Let's take a look at this little guy here. Look at that. Beautiful shine. Like the pattern. Here's the back. I got a little wet. Washed my hands. So here's the front. So green Zebra Jasper. This will be on Etsy soon, I hope. I'm getting a little behind again. The link for my Etsy page is in the description down below. So click on it and check it out. I still got a lot of stuff on there. I got a lot more stuff I'm going to be putting on here pretty soon. So yeah, I was quite impressed with this. I'm going to have to kind of not get it all wet when I show it to you. And there we go. Kind of keep it dry and shiny, and look at the shine on that. So yeah, I like it. So I took you through my process where I take a rough rock and I run it all the way through to make a shiny cabochon like this one here. So next week, I have a piece of red lace agate that I got from Rock Shed in Keystone, South Dakota. And I'll put that in the description down below. If you're ever out there, you should check the place out. And this video here comes out every Saturday. And then I do another video where I cut rocks in half. And that comes out every Wednesday. So check that out if you get a chance. It's kind of a little different concept there. And I make cabochons out of those rocks. I don't go show you the process. I make them on the side, and I bring them in for like a show and tell at the end of the video. And those are rocks from the previous episode, so you'll figure it out. And let's see. Well, thank the subscribers. Appreciate you subscribing to view this content. I'm glad you like to watch it. All you viewers out there, if you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. It's absolutely free, helps me out. And once you subscribe, and the subscribers, slide over and give me a thumbs up. It gets the analytics out there so more people can see this content, and I can get more viewers coming in, because they've been kind of rare here lately this winter. I think, check my notes here. You know, I ain't got nothing else, so that's all I got, and I'll catch you later.